I don't really know how to start. I think I'll just kind of run in. Um, I'm back for the most part. I think. That's kind of right. What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Chicken Master. I'm back. It's been about 2 months. Hopefully when this goes up, I'm obviously recording a little bit early, but about 2 months since I last posted a video, and I mentioned on my Twitters, which if you're not following, will be in the links below. Definitely check it out because that's where I post most of my updates. But anyway, so I had mentioned that I would be going out, like being busy, not going out of town. I'd be busy, right? High school lacrosse season was starting, my adult seasons were starting. I was at work a lot. Like things were just about to get hectic for me, and they really did. I mean, they really fucking did. So I thought I would come back with this just to kind of explain it because a lot happened. I mean, this was like probably one of the most stressful like springs of like my entire life. And I've had some more stressful ones, right? I've graduated high school. I've been in, like yeah, I've had all kinds of things going on. We had COVID, but I think this was the worst. And I think I'll kind of explain a little bit why because oh my god, I'm so exhausted. So obviously, biggest things were lacrosse, right? I coach at a high school. I'm a JV assistant, and we just had a very hectic season that wrapped up beginning of May. But from March through to that point in May, it was just this mess. I mean, it was bad. We're not great, and it's always kind of been that way. Like there's been ups and downs, and so it gets very stressful. And as someone who's newer to coaching, it's very stressful because I don't know what to do. I don't have all the answers, and so I get very frustrated when I screw up. Because I take a lot of these things personally. So if the kids aren't doing things right, I feel like I failed. And so there's just like a lot of that. Not getting along with the coaches, just taking eating up so much of my time. Right, I work a job. I work at the high school as well. I'm in the ILC, so I work from about 7:50 in the morning is when I clock in to 3:20 when I clock out. So for that point in time, that's when I'm at work, and then when I would go from work to practice would start at 4. So I mean, I had to be there like before 3:45 to help set things up, get like because we have a storage area, so like everything's housed in there. Like the ball buckets, the cones, just anything else, anything we would need. Players get the cages out, but it's like I have the keys to this thing because of my job, so I have to get all these things out. And because I'm the first one off and I'm the closest one to the there, I'm just that's just naturally falls on me, which I was fine with. But it's just that like I have to be there, and then practice ends at 6, so I'm not getting home till about 6:30. And mind you, it's like a 10-minute drive home. So I mean, like for 15-20 minutes, like afterwards, we're either talking or we're just making sure the boys get out. Like we're doing all these things, and so I'm getting tired and tired and tired over the day. And I'm not the only one. All our coaches, they all have full time jobs outside of this, so it's like we all get it. But it gets very stressful, and so it's very exhausting, and especially when you do a job that I do, in the ILC, it definitely I can say that my job is very stressful, very high demand because there's constantly stuff going on. There's constantly things happening, and it's very easy to get worn out quick. And so, and I'm not gonna try and say that like, oh well, your job isn't as hard as mine. I'm just saying that for me and my experience, that what I was doing and then transitioning to basically doing it again, but with gen ed kids more, in a sports setting, just it's still like a peak. Like anything's happening, you have to be ready at anything, and right, there's always something wrong with somebody, and just dealing with that, and yeah, and kids are exhausting. We all know that, so it's kind of that's how that was. Also with lacrosse, my own season started. You might know I do that Bucks thing. We started a little bit later, but I also started a running with a bunch of alumni from my high school. So graduates, and we all were like, hey, we played with each other then, let's do it now, let's keep playing together. um so yeah, that kind of was going. So those were like Sundays. So Sundays were great, but it was exhausting, right? And I felt like I wasn't doing very good during those seasons because I didn't have time to practice because I was so busy at work and then going to the high school practices. And then by the time I would have free time, I'm exhausted, I'm worn out, and I could only do very, very little, which was, it was still great if I could fit in time for wall ball, time for something, right? And you always should, but oof, it's tiring, it's exhausting. So that was kind of the lacrosse stuff. So yeah, I had talked about it. We'll just go again. My work is very stressful, and yeah, it's very stressful. There are a lot of things related to my work. My work. So again, I'm in the ILC. I'm a para, so I just kind of give one-on-one, 1-on-3, like attention to students, right? In our ILC, I do more academics, so I get more of, right. I'm in the classrooms with the students. Where, and a lot of those are like kind of your elective kind of based classes a lot, and then like some of the ILC, like language, English class, history class, right? World of Work, right? Classes where they go and do things. They're trying. We give them life skills and schoolwork. And oh, I love my job. I would not give up this job like ever. And it's a very, very exhausting job. We have kids that just are bouncing everywhere. We have kids that have no interest in doing anything. We have kids that have interest in doing everything wrong. We have kids that, right, like things, right? And so every kid's different. Every kid, and it's learning how to work with each kid and getting it right, and helping them because you want to. And so it's very like you're doing things all day, right? And we have an A B schedule at the high school, so it's like, okay, A days are these four classes, right? And then B days are these four classes, right? So your days are different. So every other day is the same, but right. So I mean, like one of those days, I was covering two of the three lunches, for our kids. On one of the other days, I was with one of our most intense kids, or most intense practical, just because that's who because they responded the best to me, so it was generally me. Everyone got a turn with him, but I was called on a fair amount for him. And so because everyone just gets with different kids, we all work with different, and so it's really fun, but it's just like so stressful. So to do that was just like a lot of fun, but also very exhausting. And then again, having to kind of come spring switch into right after that, go to practice, just very exhausting. Have games and having to do this, it just was building up all the stress. You know, and especially towards the end of the semester, right? We are, the kids start sensing that school's almost over. Who gives a shit, right? I don't care anymore. And the adults are feeling that too. Like, trust me, when you were in high school and you were nearing uh, the end of the school year, trust me, your teachers and everyone else in the building did too. They just were better about handling it, and hiding it from you. So that way they were like, just, you know, but right, like, so yeah, like, I'm getting frustrated. I'm getting stressed. I had finally started to break down a little bit. And I'm proud of it because it's like it needed to happen. But like I started crying, like even just during the day. I think there was one day, the first one, the most profound one was like I literally walked to right outside that classroom, and I had had a stressful time because we go and get kids from the buses, and the one kid that I had to get because one of our other pairs was gone, so they're like, "Hey, can you also grab this student that she normally grabs?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course." And she would not come off the bus, and right, and that's just part of the right, like the job, because that's just how things will be sometimes. As the kid just doesn't want to get up. We have kids that don't want to get on the bus to go home, like because it to them something's wrong with it, right? Like they just can't. And so it's kind of fascinating. But she would not get off the bus to come to class, and then and it took me a long time to, so I was late to my thing, and I was right outside the classroom, and I was just so stressed, and then I just broke down, and and the sports and this and the staff there at the school are great. One teacher, I work well with him, and I see him a lot, and he came to help. My coworker came to help. So that was like, yeah. So it's like that was just kind of like how my spring went for the last 2 months. So it's like a lot of that. Also, actually, well, the coworker in question, I don't know how it, I don't know how I managed to get a girlfriend. Um, so yeah, my coworker, we get along really, really well. And everyone's really happy about it. I think there's only like one or two coworkers that think it's weird, but that's not really up to them now, is it? But no, like we met at the beginning of the semester, and so we started dating in March, just as a spring break had begun, and so we were just kind of like up until then we had been texting and talking all the time during the day, and we were just working together and stuff, and we were just get and then finally we both just kind of were like, I mean, I like you, you like me, and then it just kind of happened. Like we never really officially set a date. I think we picked just a day for like when we started dating, but it really just kind of just happened at the end of spring break because I got fucking sick over it. Um, we uh we went on our first date, saw the Batman, and we've been going great. But yeah, so we work together. But she's very good for me. She's very much into like, hey, if you're not okay, you're not okay. Like, take care of yourself, right? So as things have happened, she's always been there. She's been helping me, and she's done this before. She started working this job a few years ago, so she definitely knows what's going on. She definitely gets it. So it really, really helps me. But yeah, she just yeah. And yeah, so that's been a good thing, but it's also been very stressful. Like taking like like high school relationships. I never had one, but high school relationships for the most part are relatively stress free when you look at them. Just because it's like you just go on dates. You both live at your parents' house usually. You go to school every day, so you're guaranteed to see each other, right? You like all these things. When you become an adult and then like you start dating, then is like it's very stressful because it's like you know, like, am I doing this right? Is this normal? How and every relationship is going to be different. So, things that work for one are not going to work for another, and that's just how it is. But you also have to be willing to try, and that's like one of the fun things too about when you're being an adult and dating is for the most part, people are a little bit more mature. So it's like if things happen, if accidents happen because you just don't know, right? We don't know. We have no experience, right? There's a good chance that they'll be okay. It'll be okay because you can talk it out and work it out and figure it out, right? And move on. Right? Like we're not talking like making mistakes that like what you're doing, and be terrible. But like you're just like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know that, and it's like, oh, that's okay. Well, now you do, so don't do it again. Right? And the positivity. So there's that. Major stressor. My car died. So I had a 2005 Honda Pilot. Great car, great car. I was driving up. I took the toll road to our last JV game of the year, and I had to drive. And so I'm on the toll road, and this car, we've been having issues with the car. Like something's always been off. We've changed the radiator. We replaced a few other things. We've just fixed things, and it kept overheating, and we were just like something's wrong. So I'm driving on the toll, car starts overheating again, like it always does, and I'm like whatever, right? As I'm exiting the toll, I look at right the kind of the right of my hood, and there's just this white smoke coming out, kind of that smoke steam kind of thing, and I'm like, oh god, I'm gonna die because I could smell something in the car, and I'm like, that's not normal. I figured it was a car near me because there was like a couple of cars that I had been around like the whole trip. No, no, it was my engine. My coolant had blown, so coolant got everywhere inside the under the hood, and there was a crack in the engine, so the coolant got in and got all mixed up and ruined it. So like I mean, the engine's done, right? Like nothing works in this car. And so I get it towed, and the next day, our mechanics look at it and they're just like, yeah, this thing's screwed. So, it's kind of that. All right, well, guess now I have to buy a new one, and so that whole process has been a nightmare, because it just is. That's the design. And for me, like, it's good because like I've never done that before, so having to learn, like how to do it and stuff is great. The car was from my parents. It was their old car because my mom had gotten a new one. And so it was just like, oh, we'll just give Cameron, I'll just give my kid the old one. But yeah, so I've been looking. There's a couple cars that are really good options. We're working on narrowing it down and getting it figured out. How to finance, what things I'm gonna have to do to it once I get it. Getting it checked, right? Making sure that these are all good. But it's a struggle. I'm frustrated with the bank because they're dumb. I'm frustrated with my car because it broke. And there's just all this stuff. So it's been very stressful. And with the end of the school year, right? Like you would think that okay, well, summer's here. Well, I have to work, so I've been filling out job applications for summer jobs and kind of a second job. Well, kind of that I have to be able to make a lot of money because being an adult's expensive. So that's on that. So and then the last bit of the update, kind of the gaming realm because again that's kind of what I do as well. Um, big excitement. We signed Agent Bobby, and signed. I mean, he's just part of it, right? But we brought in Agent Bobby. He's an old guy from briefly from uh, CNP. He was there for a little bit. He helped kind of get that thing going, and then he got his own opportunities and stuff. And he was looking just to work with an org that wasn't going to demand a lot from him and just let him kind of do his thing. But all that way too, he felt like he was contributing to something. So he's good friends with Fly Portal, and so he reached out, and we got him hooked up. He's a content creator. He's a Warzone player. He's doing really good. So that was very exciting. It was also very stressful because I was like, oh god, this because it's like the first, I think the most serious kind of thing we have up to this point, and so it's kind of funny having to handle all that. And it was funny too because I was staying a lot at my girlfriend's house, and so a lot of the times I didn't have my PC, right? Like obviously I can't just transport this thing around. So I have her laptop, her MacBook. And that was what I was using on to get like Canva and to get Twitter going, like make things happen. So it was very stressful. A lot of the Discord shit that I was doing, we have a private Discord as well as also just like getting things done. I'm doing on my phone. I'm doing on my laptop or on her laptop. It was just so stressful, but it was so much fun, and I'm really excited about it. Um, that's a good gaming news. Annoying gaming news. Um, my best friend, he kind of can't play. He's been playing a little bit recently. He's having some physical health issues, so it's uncomfortable for him to game for extended periods of time. So it's kind of stressful. I don't get to play with him a lot right now. I've been playing a lot with Fly Portal, of course. Um, but big thing we're running into is I'm kind of frustrated because it's like every game I pick up, I feel like even right if I'm just doing fun modes, casual modes, right, just trying to have some fun with the game, it's constantly ruined by the fact that either the game is broken in some way, the game just sucks, in design, or really or people just testing my limits because they're constantly like, oh god, if you're not trying, you're not, trying, right? Like and the whole sweat mentality. And again, like I can't tell everyone how to play, and so I don't hate them, but it's definitely like frustrating because I'm a little bit like, oh come on, I'm just trying to play, man. I was able to sneak off my Xbox Series S. It's mine. I'm not really sneaked it, but I took it to my girlfriend's house. Was able to play there, and I had a bit of a good time there. Just it was a little bit more relaxed. But it's like it's been stressful, so I haven't been playing as much recently, just because like again I'm busy, and then I'm also just like, it's not worth it. It doesn't feel like, So there is that. Is it a problem? No, it's just not a stressor in my life. But yeah, I just thought I'd talk about that. So that's pretty much it. Like I said earlier, definitely check out like my Twitter and stuff. My Twitter especially. That's where like most I will share most things there. Um, Go lives will be there as well as just right like updates, memes, my fucking mood. Tired. My fucking mood. Like I'll just share shit, and just engage with people. So that's kind of the best medium to interact and engage. I mean, also you can go in the comments and share right things and stuff like that. Because I mean, we all get it. It's just yeah. But yeah, I think that's it. I just kind of wanted to share a bit. I know it's not quick, but I just wanted to share a bit about like kind of where I've been and why I have been very like quiet just in general. Like I haven't made very many attempts to get back, or I haven't really like communicated why I'm gone. Like I said like yeah, I'll be gone and stuff, but it felt like because so much happened that it needed its own explanation. So with that, I'll be signing off for now. Hopefully have some videos coming up here, because you gotta. So I will see y'all later. So take care. Be safe. Be happy. Be healthy. I know things are a little bit hectic recently. So just know that we'll be okay. Everyone's gonna be okay. Just things are hard, and that's just part of life, I guess. But we'll be okay. So take care, and I'll see y'all in the next one.